It's Kelder. It's time for Talk to the Hands. Morning, Hands.
Morning, Scotty J. How's it going?
We're doing well. We always look forward to this moment in our week.
So do I, actually. I nearly can't sleep the night before I get so excited.
Oh, you get that too? Why, I get that every day.
Now, Hands, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about couples who say they love each other, but they don't feel in love, or sometimes they feel like they're growing apart. And what often happens there is that they compare their present situation to the time of courtship. So courtship time is when you sort of first meet each other. And
Become completely infatuated with each other.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. And what researchers have done, they've actually looked at these teenagers, and they put them through MRI machines, and what they discovered is that there's about 3 chemicals going through your brain. It's like a whole cocktail of feel-good chemicals going through your brain during courtship. I can mention some of these. Actually, it's norepinephrine, there's dopamine, and there's a phenylaline. There you go. They're pretty big words, actually. But what these chemicals do, they make your heart race, you feel excited, you feel elated.
Oh,
you got
remember those days? Remember those days?
That was a long time ago.
Was that for you, was it, Joe? And what happens, you actually, it's nearly the same as people who go through the manic phase of bipolar. And it's nearly the same as obsessive compulsive disorder, because all you can think about is your lover.
Yep.
You know,
Wow.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I must be the exception. I still get that, regularly.
You know Hannah's listening. She's listening.
Yeah, I just realised my previous comment might have
You say all the right things.
distanced me from my wife, so
Okay.
I'm building a bridge, Hens.
All right, so getting back on track. So these are kind of, when you first meet, you have all this whole cocktail of drugs basically running through your head, and you become completely infatuated. It feels great.
It does.
So, all
So
right.
anybody out there who's going through it at the moment, enjoy it while it lasts, because what happens, these chemicals actually go after a while, and so there's 2 other chemicals that come in during mature love, and that's oxytocin, which they call the hug drug,
The hug drug, yeah.
and vesperin, which is also a reasonably feel-good chemical which goes through your
So
brain.
things change. So you might get married. You've
Things slow
known
down.
each other for a while.
Yep.
So you don't expect that kind of cocktail of drugs going through your head, basically.
So what happens is that during courtship, you see, you feel the love, and the love motivates you to do all kinds of things. And so you'll even do ridiculous things. You know, like say, it could be midnight, and you're with your girlfriend, she says, "Oh darling, I feel like a glass of Coke," You say, "No worries, sweetheart, I'll go down the nearest convenience store and I'll get you that drink," right? But then when you're married, your wife wants a glass of water.
I'll go get your own. I'm sitting down now. I don't want to do that. You go get your own.
Now the thing is, you see, what you got to do, you got to do the loving behaviours to get the loving feeling. And so the more you behave in a loving way, being kind, generous, supportive, those things that we talked about before in previous sessions here, work out a weekend together, take her out to a restaurant. So if you do the loving things, even the dressing things sometimes, like when we first met our girlfriends, or the wives met us, we really put on a nice dress, nice suit, we combed our hair, we put the aftershave on, we made sure we look good. After a while we forget those things, but it's those little things that often count.
So it's actually doing the actions.
Yes.
Like, and then with the actions come the feelings.
That's exactly right. So when people say, "Look, I love," but we don't feel in love, to get that in love feeling, you've got to do the loving actions to get the in love feeling.
Nice. All right, here's a question for you. We often hear, about I guess, looking elsewhere. Do you think part of that is looking for that drug rush that you get when you first meet someone? And then if you find that other person, that you're looking elsewhere with, then after a while that's going to go as well, isn't it?
Actually, it's good you brought that up, because you actually get love junkies out there, and what they do is they go for the relationship. They really enjoy that.
They like that
heightened
first
feeling.
hit.
Yes. And then when they don't have that anymore, they'll actually stop that relationship and move on to the next one to get that heightened feeling.
Yeah, wow.
And they actually call that love junkies. There's a few out there actually will do that, because they know what it's like to have that exciting feeling of that when you first meet someone, which is an exciting feeling actually.
And the trick is not to then, when that feeling goes, you talk about those initial
Yes.
drugs, the hit, when that goes, not to think that that's the end of the relationship. It just changes, it becomes different. So
Yes.
so you're not saying, oh, the relationship's failed, I don't feel that ecstatic anymore.
Yes.
You're saying it's just different.
Yeah. But if you want the oxytocin to cut in and the other feel-good chemicals in your brain, I guess, if you want to feel good about the relationship, that's basically what we're saying, you need to do the actions. So the loving behaviour creates the loving feeling.
Yeah. How's that, Joe?
That's great.
I love that.
I intend to go home tonight, put on a nice suit, and comb my hair.
You know what someone said about a nice suit? My sister said this actually. She said to me, like, a suit, a woman seeing a guy in a nice suit is like a guy appreciating a woman in lingerie. I thought that was quite interesting.
How about a Colonel Mustard suit? Hey, Hans, thank you so much for coming in. We look forward to chatting up with you next week.
Okay, good on you guys.
Let's talk.